the unfortunate topic of child molestation, sex abuse in the Haredi community or in the religious community pops up from time to time, unfortunately. And now I just heard the good news that child molester Mondrowitz is finally being extradited after a long legal battle from Israel. Let it be said here just in parentheses, because it's really not the topic, but the worst such case of molestation happened in the yeshiva of Netiv Meir. This is one of the flagship yeshivas of the Mizrahi religious Zionist movement. Somehow this case failed to ignite the wrath and the anger of many left-wing bloggers. I understand that it happened some time ago. The scandal started about in 98, 99, and then the person, Zev Kopolevich, was convicted of several counts of full-fledged rape, statutory rape, sexual misconduct, sexual assault, so on and so forth. So he had all kinds of relations with the Borchem there in the yeshiva, with consent, without consent, you name it. And according to articles written at the time, those who were very much opposing the prosecution were none other than Rav Chaim Druckmann and Rav Avraham Shapira. Of course, none of this made it to the even-handed and fair-minded bloggers, but let's just leave it now, because it's really not our topic. Unfortunately, the big push for the extradition of Mondrowitz didn't come from within the Frum community. Mondrowitz had to run away to begin with because parents of Gentile kids who were sent to him for consultation. He was a child psychologist. Can you imagine this pervert, this piece of garbage, this animal? He was a child psychologist. I even heard about a case, I can't confirm it, but that's what someone told me, that one of Kolkol's victims was sent to him for consultation, and he continued the abuse. Can you just imagine what this is? Now, of course, many articles and time and thought has been dedicated to what to do in such cases. First of all, what to do to prevent these cases, and what to do when such cases happen. Obviously, this is not an easy topic, because you can also think, at least in theory, I'm not saying that this is the case, but in theory, it is possible that Kolkol is innocent. You know, it is possible to make up such things. For instance, I remember, when I was in high school, there was a certain teacher on whom me and a good friend of mine in class liked to pick on. And one day, because this teacher had a slightly higher pitched voice, especially when he would get angry, his voice would go even higher. So me and my friend, we just decided to call him faggot. Not a very nice nickname, but we started to call him like this. And very shortly afterwards, the whole school was making up stories about him, that he was touching them and putting his arms around him. It's incredible, but it's possible to ruin someone's life with such rumors that come just out of stupid things. He gave us a bad mark, and we decided to get back at him, and we gave him this stupid nickname. So we got to be careful here. But let's just say that at least in the case of Mondrowitz, there's enough evidence floating around that makes pretty evident that the guy is guilty of monstrosities, the worst things. Now, I'm not saying that whatever other people say is not good. It's great. There must be much more awareness of the topic. Children have to be spoken about, that people are not allowed to touch you in this and that manner. On the other hand, you can't panic a kid. You can't cause him. If someone puts his hand on his shoulder, he right away should run to the police. Child molestation. What? I'm saying you gotta keep things within boundaries. So there is a concept which is pretty extreme, I admit it, and we got to be careful with it. But there is such a thing, street justice. If the authorities, if those whose responsibility it is to take care of these things, won't take care of it, then we, the ordinary people, have to take these things in our hands. The difficulty with this is that I, for example, cannot go and do something outrageous because something happened to my neighbor. So this has to be a collective consciousness of not to tolerate this. Zero tolerance. If such a thing happens, action has to be taken immediately. And I'm talking about extreme action. If the authorities ignore it or put sticks in your wheels. Unfortunately, there is an ongoing such a case that I know about. I wish I could do something about it, and I'll try if I can. So my suggestion would be that the community would, in one way or another, just do away with these people, and you can read in this whatever you want, but not to tolerate them. These people should not be tolerated in our communities. I cannot be more explicit than this. Another thing is, which is a topic by itself, very, very important, I've written about it in the past, and it's called firearm ownership. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that if you hear something, go to the school and shoot the teacher. Obviously, it's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, if the teacher knows that 40, 50, 60, 70% of parents own, you don't even need to have a license, a permit to carry an arm. If they just know that you have a rifle in your home, I promise you that their